specific local needs are beginning to emerge in some of these communities. And things like, some things that are happening in Fayetteville right now is some of these, there's a little transportation company that's got, what's it called? Suma. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Are you in that?
I was in their study group, drove the cars and, visited with my...
Yeah. So, things like that really are something that can kind of develop on a local level. And when people see it as part of a regional or a local work, that they understand the goals of that, it's not just, they're going to have to change their whole routine of life and use this new form of transportation. They say, okay, I can learn something about this and see this as a valuable thing that helps the small business that they're connected with this network. Some other things that people are doing, they've come up with, you would not believe how many cool things that they've actually come up with. They've done a bunch of different mapping projects. And that's the kind of thing that I'm imagining how we might do something like this in Fayetteville, where they do a map of the region, part of the community assessment process, where they do a map of Fayetteville and whatever region we happen to be talking about, and they have pads of sticky notes. So we take our map down to the farmer's market on a nice day, and as people are walking by, we get them to notice things that they know of in our community that are resources that need to be understood, that we need to know about, and write it on a sticky note and put it on their location on this map. And so within one day, we have accumulated a mass of resources that we have available in our community that are not really connected to each other. And it's also an incredible tool for reaching out to a community to let them know. So it educates the community about the transition project, and it educates the community about the fossil fuel problems we're facing. It educates the community about options that were not known before, and it also creates this resource database that we need. So some of these are just incredible. They also have storytelling projects that sound like they would be so fun, where you get the old people together and you get them to tell you how things used to be. And one guy who did a walking tour of his historic district and talked about all the old businesses that used to be there, the old grain mill that's gone now, the old brewery that's gone now, and the way that things he knew, people he knew, that it just connected the community and just gave people the sense of what we lost and what we need to reconstruct if we're going to become a localized community that can be resilient in the face of the kind of change we're facing. So, it's huge. There's just a mass of things that people are doing out there. When you start checking out some of these websites, you're just going to be amazed. Really so.
Sounds intimidating.
Yeah. But this is the thing, when we don't start at their level, we start wherever we are.
Something like Wellington or where should we start? I would like to see Fayetteville, not because I'm from here, but because I want to go to the training to take it home. Out in Wellington County.
Yeah, and that's it,
And then it started with
yeah, but then all of us take it to Apostle.
I'm a trained professor speaker.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's interesting when you said, oh, here are these cities, these really Houston, New Cities, Mecca, all the major oil companies have their things there, have their corporate transit. But Clear Lake is the veteran community for NASA. So your next door neighbor is a rocket scientist, literally. And they have a much greater passion for the earth and physics. And the scientists not like see why I would start in Clear Lake. And that's maybe we might just do something. Let's talk about communities that might be really good people to know and get something because we have to kind of, you said we have to start where we are, but if we hit the ground running, and we know we have Compassion Faithful, we know we have Feed Faithful, we know how all these organizations, they're ready with their own little contributions. They would be a great nucleus. Just to get them together, casual basis, and then start talking to the powers that be. And I can tell you from getting our bill passed this year, the powers that be are not interested in, they're not interested in North Dakota, the mental. Tell me what's going on around here. Oklahoma is kicking our butt. Missouri, all of our neighboring states are kicking our butt. Now that motivated them, and unfortunately, the threat of being sued. But we have to understand what their hot buttons are, because this will become the basic economy. It's almost survivalist. And I hate to use the word survivalist, it's connected to a lot of
It's a good word.
but you don't understand, we are going to have to get back to basics, including not worshiping at the feet of consumerism. What can we do for ourselves? Because the consumerism is killing us. If I sit back on my wife's big TV and my big Cheetos, and I don't care, my orange stink, I have got to look at this as we're all one reason. I think we can get our life right. That's it.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of real interest in seeing this happen. Are there people here who say, I would put time cycle another meeting, Because, we're very clear that the Climate Change Book Forum is a very important activity of itself. What we're talking about is starting a different initiative.
I would just like to say something that, when I use those things, I think in terms of like starting a movement, I think in terms of policy, but there are all these other people like my kids who don't see things in that way. They start by doing it. They exchange food with their neighbors. So a lot of people are already doing it, and I realize I'm starting to get to know my neighbors who are incredible people but don't think in terms of policy and movement, but they planted very quietly 100 palm trees on the river. She just happened to tell me, and then when I was gone, she came down and mowed my lawn twice, and she watered my garden. So now I'm giving her some for my garden. So, and what I'm saying is that it's happening all around, but I'm thinking, I really want to change my viewpoint about how to go about it, where it's just really on the ground, connecting with your neighbor, and not necessarily seeing it as a movement as much as building relationships. And so, and I think we might, like if I tell Ben or, the kids, oh yeah, we're starting this thing, and they're going to say, forget it, I'm already too busy doing it. Yeah. So, but it's a movement. It's really grassroots, right? So I'm just wondering about how to extend it.
In that direction, I know somebody that's in Oregon, that they started a group that would get together of people in the community that live fairly close, and they would start meeting at each other's houses, and while they were doing it, they would work on an improvement project, rotating, the whole group would meet at so-and-so's house, and they would, build garden beds or install solar on the roof. And to me, it's a really good method to communicate, and you're actively doing something, and you can see the progress, but you get to interact and visit with these people too. And I've always liked that model a lot. We talked about it a little bit, but never got off the ground early days of carbon task force and trying to do something in that vein.
barn raising, you witness. You heard the music, it was people, I mean, it was their religious purview to do that, as more, everything. The Pennsylvania Dutch, but it was part of their religion, but it was so stirring. They had this little cocked and, who hasn't been a carpenter in the early days anyway, but it was the most moving scene of that movie, was the barn raising scene. And then they beat each other like, we can do this. We have brains, we are creative. It was a very emotional thing. And that's kind of what you're inclusiveness. And maybe you do that alone. Really.
Sue, I'm really curious what your thoughts might be.
Well, I have to tell you that I'm a little bit puzzled about what exactly are the goals and what exactly is it you want to do. Are you looking for city council endorsement of a transition movement in town, or are you just trying to start a grassroots effort? And I'm not really clear about what would be involved.
Okay, so normally they don't just start out by asking for city council endorsement. They go ahead and start at grassroots, but they really do want buy-in from government people. So part of the outreach early on is to get to know the city council, there's a lot of different kinds of like suggested ordinances that they will take to city council that have to do with some of the projects they're working on that would support resilience and transition in the community. That they work very hard to work with government and business both to make sure that everybody is on board with things, that they are doing things in accountable ways, and that kind of thing.
So, like, say if those ordinances has been through several generations, allowing people to keep chickens.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That's right.
But we don't have necessarily a list of similar kinds of ordinances at this point.
No, yeah, and there may be something on that site, and I didn't really look for that, so I don't know for sure that there's not. But I didn't see it right off. I think it could very well be embedded in a lot of different individual groups' work that maybe as a relation, not sure. But what comes up is, and I've heard of a couple of things in Fayetteville that I'm trying to think of one of them that things that just were small things that just made it difficult for a particular, the pedicab thing. When this guy wanted to start a pedicab business, and that turned into massive documentation. And I think that they're looking for ways that some of these green businesses that would emerge and local initiatives could be part of the community and with community support. So it'd be that kind of connection we're looking for with government.
Well, I think that was always been very good about those things.
Yeah.
I'd like to add to that, and thank you, Sue, for coming today. Our city is already a transition town. You just go to the phone directory and you pick up a half a dozen different agencies that are already at work at everything we've been talking about. So this is not for those of you who might feel intimidated by taking a look at this book, just to remember for a few moments that the city and the county are already organized to reduce and recycle and do all the things that this book urges us to do. We're in a good place to start.
And there are a number of churches in town too that are,
Yes.
I mean, today Sunday supper at Trinity Church on Garland, where they feed anybody that wants to come. Our church has an Earth Care Task Force, which is why I wanted to come today. It's First United Presbyterian Church, and we've been working on it for a couple of years to reduce our energy usage. We've had energy audits done. blow flow shower, blow faucet, things changed. And recently, another member and I applied for a grant for our church to, with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, to work on reestablishing monarch butterflies. We both tried to get the city, he tried to get the city to apply for the grant, I tried to get the county to apply for the grant, and they're like, oh, we can't get it done in that amount of time, so he and I said, well, heck, we'll do it. But the grant is to reach out to other churches to help work on, I think the monarch population is down by 90%, and the U.S. is decided to get rid of it and try to get people to plant milkweed.
And Sue, this thing about milkweed, you know where the 112 drive-in is?
Yes.
On each side of it, 2 weeks ago, when it stopped raining, there was easily 2,000 milkweed plants, tall green milkweed plants growing out there in bloom, just waiting for monarchs to come. It's all been mowed. It was all mowed 3 days ago or something. I went by there and said, well, there won't be, they didn't make, they didn't stay long enough to go to see. But they were there, and it was like magic, because it had rained so much they couldn't mow. Outlawing mowing would be a very big step. If anybody mows more than, I don't know, maybe Don Nelm still owns part of it there, because he owns the
There was no
Super
coming
old.
up all along Highway 16, and it's pretty much gone now.
It's gone.
I didn't see any
They
today when I
mowed
was
it down,
driving through,
right?
and a month ago, it was all over the place.
Yeah, county and state, and city mows, they'll mow sideways, at risk of rolling over to get those plants out of the ditch. And there's nothing there but waste of fuel going on.
If it's the highway department, they're extremely difficult to deal with.
And they say they've got it contracted out now. They can't control it, they say. Cutting one tree in the city, I thought years ago when they first made the ordinance, every household would have to get a permit. Now, we've got many hundreds of acres cleared just in the last 2 years inside Fayetteville for new developments. They don't protect the soil there. They red dirt the whole place, level it out, take out all the vegetation. The soil that you could farm on, Walmart could grow all its produce if it bought some land and protected it instead of building another big outlet place. But there's any place that's not shaded today is hell to stand in, as you may have noticed walking up here. So why don't we enforce regulations we have like that? Why is it streamside protection ordinance? They made that ordinance, but the Planning Commission has probably given, it could be 50 or 75. I can't keep up with everything that happens at those meetings anymore.
Really? I thought they were extremely rigid about that ordinance.
No. When we went through the process of getting that ordinance passed, we're talking, cities had an ordinance like that, 300 feet, 200 feet from a stream, 100 feet. Well, it got down to Fayetteville, went down to 50 feet, and then they give a variance to go down to 25 feet routinely, and then a lot of places, they say, well, it's an inconvenience to our project not to go back to the stream side. So they get it. This is...
Well, Alan Long didn't get one when he wanted to put in a swimming pool, that's why he's on the city council.
Yeah.
He still doesn't have a swimming pool.
Right, and they, pardon?
My husband's a naturalist, he's gonna wanna hear about this.
Oh, the drive-in?
You could drive in like that sound out by Sam's?
Yes, across from Sam.
Oh, they know.
And all that land,
But the city's ordinances don't apply, and many times to privately owned land that's just sitting there. Now, if a developer wants to come in and put in a subdivision, then there is a requirement for either replacing or protecting trees on the site. And the city is currently looking at ordinance trying to deal with the issue of invasive plants in town. and perhaps working toward an ordinance. And one possibility being discussed is that when a developer goes in to develop a piece of property, he has to remove the invasive plants from the property.
Oh, they don't have a problem, they'll remove everything.
They remove everything.
Well, the trees, they have to take care of certain numbers.
Okay, 3 years. I lived at student apartment complex. They require you to put in trees, replacement, so many, for those great big 100-year-old trees that are on the property. They're removed. Now, you are required, if you're the developer or the owner of the property after it's, whatever motel it is or something, you have to replace those trees for 3 years if they die. Well, a lot of them do follow that rule, but they die again in 3 years. You want to know why? Because they planted them in little boxes on top of red dirt that they brought in to replace the natural soil. Now, who is it in town? One young man is talking about protecting soil. You know who I'm talking about?
Abel.
Abel, that's right. And so, these things are basic that you can do in the city. If you build houses in red dirt at the property and pave over red dirt so that you've got this nice solid foundation, that means the natural soil's been removed, water cannot percolate down into the water table and replenish itself. People then get little boxes so big in those front yards, they're tiny, and they put a little topsoil over the rock bed, the gravel they put down on top there. And they have to water it, and if there's any grass on the property, it has to be mowed and then watered and fertilized. Is something wrong with that? You fertilize it, then you water it, then you mow it. That's a very expensive process. So those are little things we can do.
And I
Keep
think with
the
some of the
shape.
education that you're talking about,
Yeah.
I think Fayetteville could probably even move forward more than they have now. Really, Fayetteville is pretty progressive.
Yeah. I think we could check out the numbers and move to Winslow and every place else.
But I think you have to be able to be somewhat more specific about these are the kinds of things.
Yeah, and so that really is kind of a step, you know, and maybe people from your church would really like to participate in this. But I really love the law suggestions that, and I think, you know, a small group of people getting together and deciding on the first steps would be a first step. And Wally suggested that rather than, they asked two people to go to a training somewhere, and if we talked about having a training here and inviting people from small towns around here to participate, we could have a nice sized group, you know, in one training session.
Each one brings one.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, for a plan for that, then we need funding, we need to sometime fundraise $2,000, so we should start like a little group to start with the fundraising.
Actually, it's probably gonna be more than $2,000 because they like to have two trainers at a time.
So I'm busy fundraising for another thing.
Yeah.
After that's over. I definitely think it would work out.
Okay, I'm sending you a piece of paper around. If you would like to be on this list, please give me your email and phone number, and we can kind of start talking about it. And then if you're not interested, we'll just go through and walk. But, yes.
They was talking about, I think the plan commission is recommending reducing the number of parking places that require new businesses. And that's really a huge issue to think about it. Because we have so many empty parking lots. And that ground could be put to better use.
I think we had SEMO driving people around. They had like, park out of town.
Did you come out like that, Bob? I think we're already. See?
Yay.
Cool. Those say, what's that, $1 for 5 miles or something like that?
Yeah, I remember the price reference, it's kind of varies with the distance.
Yeah.
Well, Dick made an interesting point that there are already these groups who are working, maybe if we form some kind of committee, what we do is start with meeting with these groups, going to some of these groups, meetings, and start making notes on what is going on and how we can aid it, work with it, expand it.
I'll get a list tomorrow of all the city, county offices that are already working on this. We have a sustainable committee in the city, and once a year they give an award to the yard that is the most natural. They've done that for 3 years.
That's urban forestry.
See,
I'm on that board.
there you are. And
To business and
so they're encouraging that for, well, that's just one day that they do of all their work during the whole year, so
and the tree giveaway in October,
the treatment.
the medic tree plant.
Think of that, that's been going on for how long? You used to hand them out, it's still good. So,
I
our
don't
city
think
is,
the county is doing very much. Mention the county, I don't think the county.
well, I didn't know about it, but I'm more informed about the city, but if the county isn't, then we might encourage the county.
They have replaced most of the fluorescent trees at the courthouse with, LEDs. Partly for the rebate from the electric company, but that's about all we can think of the county.
I think it's important that on behalf of Kaufman,
I call Larry Culpus.
Cindy, that's all, the first thing under our community assessment.
Right. I would like to mention, Louise Ann is pretty unhappy with the recycling, as it's going to be straight into the building.
Coke Brothers.
Yeah. We might want to work on that.